Notts County Talk. It is pre-season. It is not a Papers perspective, George. The Papers perspective isn't back yet. Another few weeks, I say. What do you reckon?
Yeah, at least we've got to keep people guessing, haven't we? Got to keep
people guessing. Also, I've got 10 months of speaking to on a Thursday, and I'm not having that for 11 months. So we'll give you another bit of time off. If you are joining us, this is the pre-season phone-in. We've got some great guests, many of which you will know this evening. Get your questions in. If you've got any questions that you have for any of our guests, whether it's related to what they're talking about, their topics, or it's just a question you'd like to ask them in general, maybe you want to pick their brains, then do so. Callum, that's flashed up for us that you are now a member for 11 months, so one away from that handshake from George at the next game. That's the 12-month membership gift, I suppose. But there we go.
Fantastic.
If you are new to the channel as well, also please do subscribe. We've got plenty to come over the summer. Before we get our first guest in, George, how's your summer been? How are you? Because we're going to get a lot from our guests. How are you feeling from that final game of the season to now?
I mean, the final game of the season was obviously quite bleak, wasn't it? But yeah, we've made some decent signings. I think commercially as well, Notts are in a really good position now with the Nest. I don't think you can sort of underestimate how much revenue that could bring into the club. But yeah, as a playing standard though, yeah, we've made some decent signings. A couple of the signings I wouldn't say are massively overwhelming. I think probably quite a bit's been made at some of the signings. But I mean, time will tell. We'll probably improve some of these players. But yeah, I'm happy enough.
Yeah, I'd say, and we'll go on to talk about this. When we first released our retained list, my expectations went up massively. And some of those players on that retained list, you know, we've talked about it. Some of the players on the retained list did wonders for this club, got us promoted, outstanding. But was the right time to go. There's a couple of players in there that I'm still surprised we have. And I'm not afraid to say people like Junior Marias, I don't necessarily see where he fits in. You know, he could score us 5 crucial goals this season. I don't know. But right now it feels like not 100% sure. So loads and loads has happened. And we'll get some of our guests in pretty sharpish. Got a good lineup, haven't we, George?
We have. Decent time.
I've got to say, I won't show the picture.
What's this then?
But Will is joining us this evening. Where's Will right now, George?
He's in the bath.
He's in the bath. Poor. Absolutely
poor.
Oh
yeah. He actually did send us a photo as well. Probably can't show it on it.
Yeah, it's not that kind of photo. He's put a bubble. There you go. Bubble beard on himself at the big age of 25, 26, however old he is. So poor from him. Right, let's get our first guest in then. No, I'm not showing the picture. Let's get him in. Someone you'll know very, very well. We have Jordan. Jordan, how are you going, mate?
Hi, guys. Doing all right, to be fair. It's been a nice day, a bit cooler today. So I can get my mind right and get myself ready for this.
Yeah. So we'll go straight in. Your topic's the Nest, right? You went on opening night to the Nest. Give us your initial thoughts.
I did. Initially, great space. They've done really well with the lighting and the atmosphere, and kind of the TV was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be from the videos. They kind of was giving us a little peek of the TV, and when you got there, it's actually massive. I didn't realize how big it was going to be, but yeah, very pleased with kind of the facilities and everything that they've done with it. Yeah, great space. We'll love using it in this season.
In terms of like how it compares to, it's not a pub atmosphere, is it? It is like a sort of fan park atmosphere. I went for the Slovenia game. Less said about the game, the better. I mean, awful game. But the speed of everything in there, getting in, getting drinks, getting food. Did you experience the same as me, or did I just hit it on a really good night?
I think initially there was some issues with scanning the tickets that I had. One of them ended up scanning, but I don't know if that's sorted now because I haven't heard much about that online. So that must have been pretty got rid of pretty easily. So I think the service was pretty quick though. Like the people behind the bar, there was a bit. The first drink I got a bit slower than the second. I think they probably got used to the settings a bit more, like the people that were working there. And it might just be that I got someone that was a bit rusty or whatever. But the second one,
I'd serve you slowly. To be fair, I'd serve you slowly.
I used to work behind the in the stands actually, serving pies and stuff.
You
so,
did.
Yeah.
We've actually got an episode coming out, haven't we? Deep dive into Jordan's time in the stands. Cracking episode. Revenue wise, I've not seen anything like it in the league at all. Not even in some of the higher up divisions.
Yeah, I think it's up there really with what it's going to bring to the club with the paddle courts as well. I think just the whole feel around the club and kind of the commercial aspect of it. And I don't know if you'll mention as well later on the new website, everything commercially. I think Palmer has kind of put kind of a lease of life into it. That in that sense, off the pitch, I think has done quite a lot in terms of bringing us up to kind of a top class commercial run club, really.
Building a bit of a legacy, really, aren't they? I think the owners and Joe probably together.
Yeah, the investments they're putting in, you can see it's an investment, not just, oh, we're in League Two, we don't need to do those kind of investments. We'll wait until we get higher up, maybe, that they're actually going for it and trying to push the club on to the heights off the pitch as well as on the pitch, which is great to see.
I was in there, and I must have said that I went with Will and Jake, who are obviously on the channel, you know them. I was in there, and I thought to myself, imagine this before a playoff game. And I'm sure that crossed your mind when you're in there. Or imagine this before a game where, I'm not saying this season, but like going into, it could be this season, but it could be... I'm
already thinking of the first home game.
Yeah, imagine that there was a game where we needed 3 points or a point to get promoted. It'd be insane.
Yeah. Can't wait to be in there for those kind of moments. I think as well, they seem to be taking feedback on board quite well. I think a few people said it was a bit cold the first time I went, me as well. And I noticed on photos afterwards, the shutters on the side, they've actually brought them down like halfway and said they had them the whole way up. And I think with the beers, they've said that they could change. So I think it'll be a continuous like review process, which is good to see because there's always going to be things maybe that could be better from the start. So I'm happy with how they've kind of approached that aspect of it as well.
Yeah. What we're going to do, Jord, we've got Gab waiting to come in, and Gab's got his own show at 8. So it's up to you. Whether you like us enough to stick around for a quick chat after Gab's left, that's fine. If you want to go, then move your season ticket seat away from us if you get one. Yeah. That's you. I want to get Gab in. See if Gab's heard about the Nest. So Jordan, will we see you later? Put in the chat. Will we see Jordan again, or is he going to do a runner? See you, mate.
Pull it on me like that. I might have some to eat, you know.
Fair enough. He's definitely gone, hasn't he?
He's gone. He's long gone.
He's gone. Right, should we get Gab in? Because Gab's got his own show at 8. Let's get him in.
Yeah.
Gab, how are we doing?
I'm well, except a bit disappointed I've made Jordan go.
No, Jordan will stay around. We love Jordan. Very quickly, before George gets in, ask you a few questions. Have you heard about the Nest at Notts?
I have heard about the Nest, yes.
Superb.
Very exciting, isn't it? Do you know what? Those little things are so important to like the long-term growth of a club, because it's those things that get the extra bit of revenue, that make fans feel more connected to the club, that turn up on days that aren't necessarily match days. It makes events for the club a lot easier as well. So I think that's really exciting from a Notts County point of view.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Right, onto the football then. Sort of tell us what you thought of Notts last season. Were you shocked by the way we ended? Were you shocked by how well we started?
Sure. Not shocked by how well he started. Definitely shocked by the sort of capitulation, if you like. I think we know how good Notts are going forward, so I feel like almost not worth going over that. But for me, 4 big things that were the reason why you struggled defensively and ultimately slid down the table. Probably there was an issue with the quality of personnel defensively. Probably the pressing wasn't as good without Ruben Rodriguez, and maybe we expected David McGoldrick to do more than he was able to. Probably an issue with the balance of the wing backs, maybe, I would say. And then also you got Matty Palmer getting injured. So those four things combined, I think if you can find the solutions to each of those four problems, whilst improving the quality of the goalkeeping position as well, then I think you're in a great position to eradicate those defensive issues, and hopefully you can do that.
Most of those, I agree with all of those, to be fair. That never crossed my mind about Ruben. Never. And you know what? When I watched him in the playoffs for Oxford, you're right. I mean, we got Dan Crowley in. Unbelievable.
He's not a presser, is he, Tom?
Not quite the same. Not quite the same. There were times when we were really struggling where I would just see Maca be pressing on his own.
Yeah.
He's a pressing machine, but can't do it on his own. So obviously, you cover so much of the EFL. You can't look into Notts as deeply as Notts fans do. But on the face of it now, from my perspective, George's perspective, we said just before he got in, I am delighted with the defensive additions we've made and the sheer number of players that have left that maybe have done us a great service, but we just weren't ready for another season. Do you think we've started the summer well?
I think so. I think this is a club that's definitely on the right path under the Reitz brothers, and I think it's a club that's quite sort of reflective and can sort of learn lessons. And I think there's a lot of lessons to take from last season, and maybe with hindsight, I didn't feel this at the time, but maybe with hindsight, you actually needed that season of difficulty in order to make the alterations that you need to be competitive at the top and to continue to grow on your journey. So it does seem like a lot of the lessons have been learned. I really like the statement that the Reitz brothers put out around April. They're backing Stuart Maynard, so I think making that position clear was a big help, especially at the end of the season, and the slight sort of lift in form. So yeah, I'm feeling very positive about Notts County from an outside perspective.
Obviously, you just briefly touched on Maynard there. I think it's probably a split camp really with Notts fans, because there's obviously big question marks over him, because since he's come in at Notts, obviously we sort of fell off a cliff really, didn't we, in terms of results?
Well, you could argue, George, that some of the results were dipping a little bit under Luke Williams before then.
Yeah. But do you think he's the man for the job though to get us promoted?
I think the structure of the club is a massive advantage for any manager, and I think if you're a talented manager, I think it's a great club to work at. I think what you've got in Stuart Maynard is someone who did some really good work at Wealdstone. I think stylistically he's a fit for the vision of the club, and I think the compatibility is there, and I think that's really significant. I like how open he is with people. I've lucky enough to meet him at the player final in League Two. So yeah, I think he's a very open, personable person, so that makes a difference. I can't say because I've not studied his work in detail, and although I can tell he did a good job at Wealdstone, it's not because I'm more of an EFL person than National League, so I'm not able to kind of give you a really confident view that yes, Stuart Maynard is definitely the person for the job, but I definitely think he deserves a full pre-season to show what he can do. And I like that the Reitz brothers actually think a bit more in terms of the long term rather than reacting to maybe what a portion of the supporters want, which absolutely everyone's entitled to their own views. But for me, I think the club have done the right thing by sticking by him.
Yeah, I think as much as it pains me to say, because it was so good the year before, I think he came into a bit of a mess, to be honest. You'd lost Matty Palmer, like you've already said. Then Bajrami, who was sort of our defensive cover. Kevin Scott, so you're relying on Maca putting all these minutes in, doing the pressing. We don't really have any different option up front until we got Jatta coming in. So I think anyone would have struggled. And like you say, performances were dipping. I mean, I remember Mansfield at home. We scored within 2 minutes and didn't see the ball again. Wrexham, they dealt with us like we were, we weren't really an issue. And then Tranmere on New Year's Day, I remember going to, and that was a horrendous performance from there. So I don't think really. I mean, he could obviously have done better, but I think we're in a bad way, almost unsalvageable last season. With any, I don't think Luke Williams would have got us playoffs in hindsight either.
Interesting. Well, I think Matty Palmer's injury was a big one, and then I think the midfield additions in January weren't you weren't quite able to sort of fill that gap as well. So I think that's another huge factor. For me, the big thing is having players who are going to be strong in 1v1, Jules, which is why you tell me what you think, guys. But for me, Jacob Badeau is the signing of the summer so far in League Two. And the reason I think of that is because he's quick. So he fits into the core playing identity because he's good on the ball and got good passing range, got good profile as well in terms of being signed by Burnley and Aston Villa. And so very, very talented. But he's quick and strong, and he adds a different sort of dimension, a bit of athleticism that was missing last season. So for me, he's the closest thing that you could get to the perfect signing at the back. So a massive fan of Jacob Badeau. I think he's going to fix a lot of problems from last season. So I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah,
that's exciting to hear for sure.
My question that I have now and this is a not sort of issue to deal with, is if we stay with that 3 at the back, 3-5 at the back, however you want to say, do we change all 3 centre backs now, or do we stay with Kyle Cameron in there? Because, like you say, Badeau's going to play. I assume Matty Platt's going to be in there that we got from Bradford, and then we've just got McDonald, who was at Harrogate last year.
Rob McDonald.
Yeah, so do we change all 3 centre backs? I mean, we've got the pre-season to get it done.
No, I think it'll be Macari, Platt, and Badeau. Personally, opening day
as well. Yes, I forgot to mention him. Gab, we really appreciate you coming on. I know you've got your own show, so we're going to let you go and get prepped for that. But I'm going to ask you, because we've got Casey Rennick's on. I'm sure you've come across him as well a few times. He's going to sort of talk about something in a minute. But right now, gut feeling, do we keep Macaulay Langstaff and Jody Jones, or do we one or the other, or neither?
I've got a bad feeling that Maca Langstaff might be off. I've just a gut feeling that I think there's going to be interest in him. So I think he might go. Not sure about Jody Jones, but I think Maca might be on his way.
Millwall or?
Could be Millwall, I suppose.
Oh, Gab, I was hoping you'd say neither. But we'll see. You never know. I mean, there'll be a sizable sum if we did let Maca go, captain and decent length contract. So, yeah. Gab, we'll get you on later on this season. We'll let you get going for your show. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Gab.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks a lot, folks.
Cheers. Is Jordan still here? I'm nervous.
Heartbreaking, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Casey thinks. We'll see what Ben thinks as well. Well, I can see at the bottom, Will's ready after his bath. We're not bringing him in yet. No one joins late and gets straight in like that.
Needs to dry himself off anyway.
Jordan.
Hey. I'm back.
On the back of what Gab said, and then we're going to leave this pretty much for Casey's chat about, but your gut feeling, Maca stay, Maca go?
I think a bidding war's going to start, and I think we could see him leave. As much as he loves being here, but I think the best thing, once one club has bid and it's public knowledge, I think then it kind of heightens the pressure a bit and ups the stakes in terms of the transfer. But yeah, I'd like to keep him. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think there's still a bit of time to go for the transfer window, isn't there? So we'll see.
Too long, in my opinion. If it was up to me, it would be closed the night
before.
Get it shut
now. Get it shut now.
But I would genuinely, I know things work out differently. I'd shut a transfer window the night before the season.
Yeah, I think it still goes on, doesn't it, for like a bit into the season. I think that's a bit daft, really, because people have already formulated plans, got things all ready, the squad ready, and then someone could come in and that's it. But I think that's a bit difficult to deal with once that happens. If you lose a player when the season's already started, it's hard to get your head around and get sorted then.
Although I did enjoy bringing random players in the National League window that seemed to go on forever. That wasn't bad. Jordan, we talked about the nest. Let's just get before we let you go finally. You can stay in and just keep joining at random times if you want. That's fine by me.
So with me.
But are you optimistic with what we've done so
far? I think after we lost Luke Williams and the results that we had, I think there was that optimism did kind of go away from the club a bit for a period of time. And it needed to come back. I think people were a bit disheartened with how we finished. I know it wasn't basically because of how we started and how well we did to begin with. but I think the off season and what we've done so far has brought that optimism back. I think I'm very much looking forward to being back at the Lane. And if you'd asked me that at the end of last season, whether I'd be feeling like this now, I don't think I would have said that. So I think we've done a lot of good work, and it's brought that optimism and good feeling around the club back, which was heavily needed after losing someone like Luke Williams.
That's good to hear, Jordan. Jordan feeling optimistic. That is always good to hear, isn't it?
He struggles. I remember you saying at one point, sat there, you saying, I think I need a 5-game break here.
I'd had a little bit of a break.
Do you know what, though? I'll give it, Jordan. You know what you're messing with today? I'm at work and I go to my phone and I see he's getting a season ticket. And I love that. I love that, Jordan.
Are you actually?
Yeah, he's getting a season ticket.
Yeah, I think I can't not get one. I think the feeling is just so good at the minute that it might be the time that I get
Come
one.
first game of the season, Jordan. If you don't have a season ticket, me and Tom are gonna shave an eyebrow off each live on the channel.
on the vlog.
I think I could pull it off.
I'm being serious.
Deal?
Yeah, deal.
No, I honestly, it'd be good if you get a season ticket. Would love that. I'm not sure how are season ticket sales doing right now. We had an update for a while.
No, we're close to the end of the early birds offer, though, aren't we? So
Someone said we need 20 million plus for Maca.
If there's a bidding war, right, you'll get that Chelsea owner suddenly just bidding for no reason. Yeah. We'll just keep going till we get him. Is it Todd Bowley?
Yeah. See the hype and think that's it. It's got to pinch it.
Well, we'll just take out the leagues he's scored and just say you've got a guy that scored at like 70 odd goals in the last 3 years.
He needs an England call up.
He does. He does. None of our England players are pressing at the minute like he would.
Exactly. I think they could learn a thing or two from Maca. He could. Right,
we're gonna say goodbye to you, George, because we're gonna see you on the channel plenty this year with your season ticket, aren't we?
Yeah. You are.
And 2 eyebrows.
2 eyebrows you're still gonna have. So we'll let you go.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you a lot more. Prediction: England win the Euros?
No, we'll lose to Italy on the way to the final.
Cheers, George. That's what George was saying about optimism. You got it. He's got it in abundance.
Cheers, George. Thanks.
Cheers, George. See you in a bit, mate.
Sun's great.
Yeah, thanks.
No, great lad, George. George is. He'll be travelling around with us this year on most of the videos. Right, got a couple more guests. Well, 3 more guests to get in. Will, I know Will's waiting, but he was the last one. He's been late from being in the bath. He's not coming in instantly. So we're gonna get Ben in. Ben, how are we?
Yeah, all good, fellas. All good. How are you?
Yeah, good. A phone-in veteran, aren't you? You've been on a few times.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
And I feel like you're the polar opposite to Jordan. I feel like you are Mr. Optimistic.
Yeah, Benny Positive. Yeah, I know. I can't help it. It feels good, though. It feels really, really good. I tell you what, I want to give... I know we've sort of done a bit of that already, but I want to give full props to Joe Palmer, right? Because if we think back to the situation Joe Palmer comes into, like we lose Jason Turner, which is like a massive, massive character, a huge amount of love, like for the guy, and what he did for everybody at the club is like irreplaceable, and we know that. And we've got these clever owners that don't try and replace it. Joe Palmer's a totally different guy. He's a totally different guy, and I think I really, really like him. He's sharp, and he's taken us forward. And there's a lot of investment that we're not seeing. It's not just the website. He's overhauled the entire digital thing. So we're getting data from tickets. We get that. There's a lot of money going into that. We've got a brand new pitch. You go back a year, we've got a sound system that, what is it, the 5th best in the country or something? Is it City United, Tottenham and Wembley? I think that's it. I know it's tiny, but like we've got LED advertising boards. It looks really, really good. All these little things. I'm really, really impressed with that, I have to say. And then the nest, as we've talked about.
Yeah, they add up though. They add up. I mean, we're extending hospitality as well, from what I understand, and some of the padded seating. I've driven past Meadow Lane, and a few days ago, I don't think that was being put in yet, but they all add up. And I think it comes to the word sustainability, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can see it. Look, I mean, how much money do we make when when that lot play over the road. We make £0, and like from this season, we'll be making money out of the Nest every week. If they open that up to the away fans before they take a deep breath and cross the river to the Temple of Sin, all of that cash is coming into the club. So it's also good vibes. I know Benny Positive, but it's good vibes. Like if you're if you're a Tottenham fan and you come up and you go and hang out in the Nest, and it's really, people are nice, the service is really good, the beer's good, the vibe's good, it's all in your colours. You're like, oh, the knots are all right, aren't they?
Yeah, it is.
They're little things, but they're good things.
It's So that's off the pitch, like you say, as positive as you can get. I mean, everything that's needed to be addressed is being addressed off the pitch, and some of the things that don't need to be addressed, we don't really talk about this enough. How much or how good the paddle is that's been added, because that's one of the fastest growing sports. Attached it to the ground. What a great idea! I've not driven past there when it hasn't been almost completely full during the middle of the day.
Yeah, I don't live in Notts anymore, but every time I go, there's people playing.
Yeah,
there's people playing, and it's like not competing with Forest. It's like making Meadow Lane and that area its own thing. You know what I mean? It's like it gives us an identity within the city, and like, because we can't compete with that kind of number of season tickets and the level that they're playing at. There's no point. It's ridiculous. But what we can do is go, look, actually over the river, there's a really, really cool thing happening. You can afford to get in. The football's really good. The people are really good. There's stuff you can do. I think it's really, I think it's in a really good place, and way beyond the level,
Yeah, I agree. It's outstanding from everyone involved. So yeah, we're right to give Joe Palmer praise. And he was in the Nest on Tuesday night, was it, for the game? And he had time for people just chatting to them. So great vibe. Someone in here put that I don't know whether Shu said that Maynard might be there for the game on Sunday. I'm not sure. I've lost the comment because there's so many of you coming in. But yeah, if you have any questions for Ben or Katie when he comes in, or Will, just put them in there and we'll try and get some questions in. But in terms of the football and last season, we've mentioned 2 or 3 times you missed a positive. Surely last season must have been tough, even for you.
It got hard work, didn't it? It got hard work, but you could sort of see it coming. I could see it coming. I don't know. Losing Matthew Palmer was really, really tough, and we just didn't have the replacements really to do that. I think you look at the signings. It's a bit like we sort of done the same thing, a bit like with the off the field stuff. Like we're not winning the ball in the air. We get a guy who wins 90% of his aerial duels. We're not good 1v1, so we sign Bedu who wins 82% of his 1v1s, whatever it is. They're kind of addressing a lot of the things. I feel quite confident about next season, but it was tough toward the back end. I think Jatta was a really canny signing. He's my kind of. I think he might be really, really dangerous next year.
I agree.
Yeah. I think with a full pre-season and like settled, you know what I mean? I think he could be really, really handy. And that was a positive, but we were kind of clutching at straws a little bit towards the back end, weren't we?
Definitely.
I was one of these. I thought we've not addressed properly in January. We've not had a fantastic January. We desperately needed reinforcements in certain areas. But like you say, Jatta's come out of January. Robertson's come out of January.
Yeah, Lewis as well, really, because Lewis signed permanent, didn't he? Just before the window, but yeah. And I think Robbo's going to. I think Robbo will be really big as well. I was impressed with him. I really, really like the way he plays.
Yeah,
and he's got some bite and some fire in him, and I like that. And I think we were lacking that. I think Curtis Edwards could be really good for us as well, And I think he's one of those that, like, we were all gutted when Jim went, and Bozzy to a degree, although Bozzy had maybe fallen off a bit. But I think Edwards will replace that. He's a couple of years younger. I remember him at Ostersund's because he was in that team. He was in their big famous team. He's a good player, and I think he could do it's going to be competition for Robbo, really.
With the signings that we've made so far, I think someone put it in the comments earlier. We saw 7 players leave, and we've now signed 6 players.
Yeah.
So, do you think how many more do you think that we need? Do you think we need more squad depth? Do you think we need a smaller squad of better players? Or
I don't think we can go in with that small squad again, George. And
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think that was one of the things that did for us. I know we get Badge back, but no, Badge is gone. I'm so sorry. We get Matty Palmer back, and look, the man's a machine. I'm sure he'll come back as strong as he ever was, but you don't know. You do not know. I'd like to see a few more. I'd like to see a right centre back on a perm, and then I think we've only really got 3 midfielders, you know. So whether we pad that out with loan players for squad, we've got Sanderson and Gill as well. Do you know what? I think Mahovo might make squads as well.
Yeah,
just putting that out.
It'll be interesting to see who our midfield pairing is, because without seeing our new central midfielder in action, I was so excited for Palmer and Robertson.
I know.
So excited. So that will be interesting. But what I do, I think we had the owners on last year. I think it was definitely 2023, and we basically said to them, we said, and I know it's not the Swedish league where Curtis Edwards has come from, but we sort of said, where would you say the Danish league is in terms of the English football Premier? And it's a Scandinavian league. It's sort of around there. And they sort of said most of your teams are looking at League One level.
Yeah.
And Woking fans, from what they've said, have said he is far superior to National League level. Yeah. I've seen some whispers around people thinking he might have gone to League One. I think you're right. I think it could be an absolutely brilliant signing. For me, he doesn't look like someone that's going to physically dominate a midfield, and he doesn't look. I'll be honest, he doesn't look to me like an amazing central midfielder. But from what I've seen here, it's great.
Yeah. I think that the Woking move was that's him coming back to the country, and and he's come back halfway through the season. Someone's offered him minutes, guaranteed minutes or whatever was in that conversation. But I don't think we should take the Woking move as his level, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. He's played in Scandinavia like virtually his entire career. So not entire career, but an awful lot of it. So yeah, my understanding is he's at a higher level. I'm really, really interested to see him play. I was interested, in his interview, he talked about wanting to play in the 6, which would be interesting. If he does play with Matty Palmer, that pushes Matty Palmer a bit further up the pitch. And then sort of balanced against that, Robbo just gets about, tackles people, gets involved, and can drive. So I think those 3 as a kind of your top 3 central midfielders are looking really, really good. I do think we need somebody else in there.
Got a question for you then from Adrian.
Go on.
Do we need another striker?
Well, that might depend on a couple of things.
What if
not
it
the
does?
moment.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say if I'm going to ask you that question in a minute before we get Casey on, but if what we don't want to happen doesn't happen, you don't think we need one right now?
No, I don't. Not with Kedders, Jatta, Maca. Don't know what's going to happen with Junior Marias and Didzy. Didzy's going to be interesting to see how many minutes he gets, and he'll drop. I guess I can see him almost dropping off and not playing as the 9, I suppose. But I don't think we need another striker now.
I think there's always a loan market for that, just to strengthen us a little bit more.
Yeah,
a little bit more. Because
I think the other one I'm interested in, Tom, is what's going to happen with Cammy and Chicks. Because Chicks almost falls to kind of 4th choice. With Cerula in, he's like, does that make him 3rd choice left wing back?
I think we either see a bit of a change, but I think this could push Jody further up, and I think Chicks could be 2nd choice to Cerula if we're going to stay that 5 at the back.
Yeah, nice.
Possibly, because I don't think we Jody, incredible. We're not going to hear me say a bad word about Jody, but with him and Aaron at right wing backs, we suffered a little bit defensively. So just let him go forward. The game that springs to mind when he was allowed to attack was Newport away. I mean, he played one game where he was allowed to completely do what he wanted, and we've got viral clips of him taking on 3 players and setting up goals. And I think that could be something that we're looking at, because I'd be happy with Adam Chickson as a sort of a backup wing back.
Oh God, yeah, and I don't want Chicks to leave. He's one of those. I think he's amazing on the training field, isn't he? I think the driver, the guy, he's really good with people coming in. Yeah, everybody sort of seems to say it when they come into the club. Chicks is really, really good with that, and his standards are so high. You know, we all know his ice bath stuff, but his standards are really, really high, and he demands it out of people. So I think he's really important. I'm just interested in where. That's a very good point about, like, structurally we might change it up.
Yeah, and I know that's what Will's going to have a bit of a chat about tactics when he comes on later. But we're going to get Casey on because he's waited for a while. And Ben, I'm going to ask you, because this is sort of one of Casey's topics. Maca and Jody, what do you see?
I don't think Jody Jones is leaving.
I don't.
Just the 2 tweets that he's put out that not long now and can't wait to get back. The can't wait to get back is a clip of him like burning someone and scoring a goal. And then the not long now is like him in the black and white and Notts ahead 1-0. I can't remember against who on the scoreboard in the background. Also, Joe Palmer scoreboard. Not Joe Palmer, but all owners straight away got the scoreboard sorted. So I don't think Jody leaves. I'm going to leave this to KC because this is his area here. But I thought when they made him skipper, I thought this is brilliant. His statement was brilliant. It was like, you know, the proudest moment of my career and blah, blah. And I just thought, that's it. Okay, we're safe. We're totally safe. And now I'm not quite so sure. What I'm hoping is we're really brave and go, it's not going to be cheap. And then I'm just hoping, because we know that he will score the amount of goals. I'm just hoping that somebody bottles it, because his XG, like, he does miss chances, but he's fine with it. Do you know what I mean? Just hoping that it's like they want 2 million quid or whatever. I don't know. I'm making that up a bit, but do you know what I mean? If the number's really high, I'm just hoping that they maybe have second thoughts about it. But it doesn't sound good, does it?
No, but it's just a bid, and we also don't know how many other bids we've had. Because I'd be surprised to get to the 27th of June and no one's maybe not bid but inquired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If he does go, then I think a striker, but you could see Jatta kind of spearheading really, and suddenly it's like Kedwin Scott will, I think, get minutes.
But you look at the very quickly the goals that Jody brings, or the assists, the goals that Dan Crowley brings. Jatta, I saw enough just in that Bradford away game to say he's going to score goals. Kedwin, I go back to time and time again, we were told he's a better finisher than Maca from Gateshead fans.
Yeah.
You've got goals there. Goals. So we'll see.
Imagine the size of the smile when he just cuts inside and shapes to go far post and slams it near post again.
Yeah, trademark. I know, trademark. Ben, we'll definitely get you on later in the season. We've got plenty more of these phone-ins planned, sort of staggered throughout the season. But yeah, always great to have you on with your positivity. So cheers, mate.
Nice one. Love to see you. Have a good one.
Cheers.
See you
later. Positivity. I love that from Ben. Right. We've got Casey who's waited and Will who's waited. I'm not really fussed about Will, so we'll get Casey on. Will's just ridiculous, isn't he? Message if you're still listening, Will. Casey, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Yes, not too bad, thanks. I know you've been listening. I can see you've been listening, and I know you heard what Gab said at the start, his gut feeling. And it's not necessarily a positive topic, but it's come out, what time? 2:00 today, maybe? A Millwall approach for Maca. What do you think?
Well, it's not great, is it? All right, let's stop there. It's not great. It's one of them, like, you look at your phone and you see it and you go, but it was only a matter of time. I've always said you're naive to think that this wasn't coming at some stage. And obviously, it's obviously not guaranteed that he's going, but I always say when you look at his career path so far, the levels of football he's played at, when you get off the Championship, it is probably going to be too much to turn down, but you just never know.
I don't see Millwall as like, and I'm talking as a League Two support here. So like, obviously they're a much stronger team than us. In terms of who he could go to, I don't see them as a massively exciting prospect.
No, it's probably not. Again, it's not the most attractive place in the Championship. Don't get me wrong, but I think Jordan said it prior. It will only probably spark a bidding war now. I'm pretty sure there's more than just Millwall in the Championship now. Has at least like scouted him, watched his progress. I know obviously Swansea have literally the man who got the best out of him in last season, and arguably the start of this last season that's just came as well. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's only going to start a bidding war from there on. But I mean, I'd be amazed if there ain't no Swansea interest very soon.
What do you reckon, George? From your point of view, I think it would sting a bit more for him to go to Swansea, for Luke Williams to take him. From my point of view, nice to see a link back up between the two. Well, it would hurt me.
I don't think it'd be nice to see a link up between the two at all.
I mean, if he had to go, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would. It'd be a sucker punch, wouldn't it? Really. Swansea just using us as a bit of a feeder club then, wouldn't they?
Oh, wow, it'd hurt. In terms of price tag, we all season, last season, we sort of plucked these numbers out. I honestly don't know. I don't know what I would be happy to accept. I mean, being captain, surely that's bumped it up a little bit.
Yeah, look, I mean, you just got to think from this angle as well. I mean, he was literally the top goal scorer in the whole EFL last season, not just League Two. And obviously the captaincy, obviously being placed on him, probably does bunk his price tag up a little bit as well. But I don't know, because you can obviously throw the £1 million price tag around. You can throw that around all you want. But at the end of the day, this is a player who, no matter how good he is, he's never played above League One, and this is Championship football we're talking about now. So whether a Championship team wants to pay £1 million for that sort of player, who knows? But I don't think Notts are going to feel forced to sell their now newly named captain, as well as someone they've still got for another 3 years. So that's why I'm not too stressed about it at the minute. But I know, again, like I said previously, a player who's played the sort of clubs that he's played at, no disrespect to them, obviously the levels, to go and play in the Championship is probably something he never imagined in his career. So you just never know, mate. It's going to be something they're going to have to watch for the next week and see how it develops.
He's in his prime, though, isn't he? 27, not 28 until Feb. Great age. What teams? Because Millwall, I mentioned it. They don't really see. I don't see them as a massive threat. Swansea come knocking. I see those as a threat. Middlesbrough come knocking. Massive threat. I think. I think it has to be the right team. Is any of the teams from either of you two that you think you're not going to be able to turn that down? Maybe on the Sheffield.
I think if there's I honestly think if there's a serious offer on the table from a Championship club, and the fit's right for him, in terms of the way that the team want to play and the club want to play or whatever, I think it'd be silly not to go.
Yeah, agreed. And I was going to say Middlesbrough myself, because I think if they come in, I think that's job done. Yeah. I was very happy that I wasn't them to begin with, but again, he's from there. I'm pretty sure he grew up as a Middlesbrough fan. That one does make the most sense, and if he does get that offer, I think that would be a case of goodbye.
Confident he'll cut the Championship with any team?
Well, no. It's tough, isn't it? It's obviously tough to determine, because again, we've never seen him play at a level that high. But I think for someone such as Maca, if you give him a chance in the 6-yard box, for me, it doesn't really matter what level it's at. He's got that natural instinct of getting across the box and getting on the end of crosses. So I don't think he'll ever lose that, no matter the level he plays at. Whether he won't get the 28 goals that he got last season in League Two, it's obviously it's 2 steps up. The quality is a massive difference. Don't get me wrong. But I think he'd score goals in the Championship, as long as, again, he gets service, because we have seen it last season. When he doesn't get that service, he's very much a passenger in games, very much non-existent. I don't think I think he'd be one to admit that as well. I mean, but you just never know, mate. You really just never know.
Yeah, I was not a really bad feeling, but I just think Birmingham in the back of my mind a little bit as well. They have money to do quite a lot of damage to some things, but you never know. Chris says here, the only Championship destination that Mac will end up at is Swansea. As soon as bids come in, Luke Williams will be in like a shot. Yeah, you don't know whether teams are waiting for a first sort of bit of a Floyd to happen. But what I would say is, if he stays, incredible for us. Incredible. What a player. And then he'll be our captain. If he goes, we've already strengthened the squad almost completely in defence and in goal that we've wanted to do. You've then got money from Maca. So then you don't have to think about filtering that money through the defence. I know I paid an undisclosed fee for a couple of players. So I think the undisclosed fees were Rob McDonald, and there was one more, I think. Was it?
I believe it was Bass. That's why I'm aware to be wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was.
Right.
So
that's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can almost solely go and try and improve that striking role. Let's move on to Jody then. We've all said, and the guests we've had in have said, we think he stays. I think he stays. What do you think?
I agree. The thing is, I've never really worried about obviously Jody leaving, but again, what I will say is I was the same about Maca, and then look what's happened today. So you never know when this same thing might happen with Jody. But I just think in terms of the career that he's had, in terms of his injuries, he's missed so many. He's been robbed of games of football due to injury, and I think he's found, that place now what gave him that self-belief to, get back to his best, and he has been back to his best. He's broke records, player of the season in League Two last season. I don't think he'll be in any rush to move on, because I feel like it could have gone a lot differently for him. Obviously, I know the time at Oxford weren't the greatest. It was kind of Notts who took that chance on him when no one else would. I feel like, although he maybe has repaid it, with a promotion and obviously the assist record last season, I don't think that's how he's envisioned repaying the favour. So, and to be fair, what I will say is as well, I feel like promotion's definitely in the sight next season. Don't get me wrong. I know that's obviously a big call, but in terms of our summer recruitment, I feel like we've got a very good chance. And obviously, this is his last season technically on his contract. You get promoted with Notts County, you're back in League One. Maybe you'll see League One as more sort of his level anyway. So maybe he fancies doing another promotion here. And you never know where that's going to take us.
Imagine going up the leagues. The unreal. What do you think of this? Comment says if Maca goes, then the money should be spent to replace the hand dryers. I know George is a massive advocate for hand dryers.
What kind of hand dryers are buying with that money then? Gold plated.
Turbo hand dryers. Literally taking your hands off. But they'll be dry, in the colder winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold. Final question then, Casey. There's a poll going on at the minute. George, have you got access to that?
I have got access to the poll.
So what is it then so far? And then we'll ask Casey his opinion.
How many more signings do we need? 0, 1, 2, or more than 2?
Honestly, I don't know. To be fair, I am quite surprised with how many we brought in so far, because people have to remember, we've still got the whole of July to go. But I guess it obviously comes down to the fact that, players came back in today. You want to sort of get the new signings done in really quickly. I do agree. With, I think, what Ben said. I do feel like we need another centre midfielder. Because again, Matty's been injured for a long time now, and you never know what sort of form he's going to come back into. I don't doubt the fact that he's going to come back and still be that Rolls Royce, but obviously you have to take caution. But I don't think, it depends. To be fair, like, it does depend massively on what the owner's vision. Obviously, the amount of undisclosed fees we've paid already. I know it's only been 2, but when you compare it to past summers, we've seen a lot of free transfers. So we are clearly taking a more ruthless approach in terms of we are going out into the market and buying exactly what we're looking for. So if they feel like it's necessary to buy another centre midfielder, buy a right centre half, which I obviously agree, I do think we need as well. You have Macari, but I feel like you need competition for places. I feel like last season too many players were sort of like content with just putting in a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 performance, knowing they'd start the game after. Whereas this season, I want everyone to have that sort of rival in the position. So we'll just see what happens. I definitely think 2. A right centre half and another centre midfielder, but it'll be interesting to see. This club never fails to surprise you. I guess you can say that.
I voted 2. So did 53% of people. For me, if we don't lose anyone, that is, mine's a centre mid and a right wing back. I think that would be my 2. I think we're okay. Left wing back, we're fine. You've got Chickson can go in there. You've got Jody that can go in there. Central midfield, you've got Edwards, Palmer, Robertson. Need one more for me. And I'd love that to have been Badge, but
yeah,
Badge has gone to League One after a whole season out injured. So fair play. That's some serious work from his agent to get him there. But I think that he's got hype around him. He could be really, really good. He just was unlucky last year. Yeah, so interesting. Most people think 2. Casey, thanks for joining us. We'll let you go. We'll get you back on at some point throughout the season.
No, thank you very much for having me, guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
sure. We'll see you down at plenty of games anyway. So
For sure, mate. For sure.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Nice one,
Speak
Casey.
again
Cheers, mate.
soon. Only got Will left. He's been getting Larry in the chat.
He has.
He has.
Yes.
First I've heard of doing tactics. You sit there for 90 minutes and talk to us about the game, and it's not good enough from us, is it?
Yeah.
Tells us it should be. Mackie Risen's saying, how do you phone in? So we did post earlier. If anyone wants to join us, we can send you the link. So what we'll do, we're going to have a few of these throughout the season. So again, when we have a phone in, if you would like to join us, just send us a message and we'll give you the link to join. But I suppose let's get him in. Will, how you doing?
I'm good. I just had to sprint from the sofas, jump up here. So I was ready to go. I can't believe you've not given Casey any trash talk either because of that 5-a-side tournament. I would have been telling him how it's going to go down, really.
Well, if you're in the video before it started, mate, we were trash talking.
Yeah.
Oh.
We told Casey that we told Casey there's only one winner and it's not Scouting Talk. So
he knows. He knows that.
And it's just us. I think we'd do the 6-a-side tournament with just us 3.
Yeah, he knows that. He's seen the goal scoring prowess.
Yeah, he has. The Notts County fans game against Juve. I will bring it up because you scored 2 goals in the opening 6 minutes and then you just forgot how to run for the last 84.
That's that. I had to get subbed off after 30.
Was that you back in the change room on oxygen? Wasn't that? And you said how long's left, and they said 80 minutes.
That were a warm day.
It was a warm day. But no, seriously. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, ourselves and Casey and the team at Notts to talk about, we're doing a charity debatable 6 or 5-a-side event. We're just looking at interest. We're almost full of places. So if you would like to get a team in, message one of our 2 podcasts, and we'll get it sorted. But yeah, all money raised will be going to 2 charities split between our choice and Notts to talk about's choice. So yeah, if you would like to get a team in and you want to show Will, I mean, we're not saying it's Will was trash talking. If you want to show Will who's boss, leave one in on him. You know,
I don't even do that. I'm on his team.
I'm on his team. I'm not leaving one in on Will. Will's decent. Will's all right. Just get him chasing for a couple of minutes and you'll be all right.
I can only do one game. You'll have to save me for the final or something.
Yeah. Well, look, there you go. That's confidence. Save me for the final. You never know. This is where we go out of the group stage like, I don't know.
Poland, bringing on Lewandowski.
Yeah, like Poland, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not comparing myself to Lewandowski, by the way. That's ridiculous.
Well, you just did. It's silly, mate, that was. So, Will, pre-season's been fantastic so far, in my opinion. What do you reckon?
Yeah, buzzing about it. I think all the signings have been great. I think everyone's already spoke about the nest and all of that. I think that's fantastic. We went Tuesday, thought it was great. I think the signings look really, really good. They're strengthening the positions that we wanted. I think Alex Bass. I think he's the best signing. I don't think we understand how sort of impactful it's going to be having a goalkeeper who's going to be commanding, who's going to be our first choice without a doubt. You know, he's a youngish for a goalkeeper. He looks like he's going to be here to stay, and I think he's just going to like sort of add so much structure and presence, and you know, I think that it's going to calm the whole defensive unit down. And all I've heard is praise about him. My mate's a Portsmouth fan, and he rated him then a few years ago when he was there and he was younger there. So I think that's a great signing. So personally, I think that's the best out of the lot. That's what makes me most excited, to be fair.
You genuinely never know how unsettling it was for the defenders last season. I mean, they might have just brushed it off, but to never know who you're going to have in goal, it's got to be huge, hasn't it?
You don't see it anywhere. Like, you look at the Prem, they're not swapping keepers about. Like, that's why there's so much out. You know what I mean about Ramsdale and Raya in goal. Like, they still cemented a number 1 straight away. You don't see any teams really changing their goalkeeper out. So that should surely be going down from the Prem to Sunday League. You know what I mean? Like, at any level, you need a solid goalkeeper. You know, we used to play school football, and if you had a good goalkeeper, you do well. Like, you need someone who's going to be there at the back, and he's just, you know, he's going to organise you, and you've got a good sort of relationship with. So I think it's going to be hugely important.
You know what's mad? It's crazy that we didn't really swap keeper a couple of times. We didn't really swap even due to injury.
No,
it
you're
was
right.
just like, you've made a mistake, off you go. Or you've not played well, off you go. And then
Yeah.
we've literally done that 2 or 3 times. We're like, right, we've run out of people to swap, so we'll put the first one back in.
Yeah,
It's like
well, that was it.
nightmare season. You know, when you really break it down, goalkeeper signing didn't go well. Lost 3 players, two of which massive players the year before, to season-long injuries. A marquee signing McGoldrick for me didn't necessarily live up to what we wanted.
No.
And I think that's due to the amount of football he had to play because of Kedwin's injury. Yeah, just a nightmare, really. But the signs were there at the start. So you think Bass top signing?
I think so personally. I think obviously, Gab's so good to listen to, and he says that Bedu's like, he thinks he's one of the top signings. And I can't say I know a lot about him. I did the video on him, and he seems, seen a few clips and that, and he looks really good, and he looks like a physical presence. Sounds like that's exactly what I said about Warner, though. And I think Warner sort of underwhelmed. I know he's not as experienced, but I think with Bedu now, he's got that experience in there. I think he'll be a great sign. I think all of them. I think they've obviously all been signed for a reason. So I think they've all been signed for a reason. I think they're all great signings, and they cover exactly the spots when you cover him. We've got a fullback who can play both sides. We've got centre halves who can cover each other. Maca is going to be in there hopefully, and if someone gets injured or we have EFL games like we've got, or then we can make substitutions, bring players in. People aren't going to get too tired. Injuries, we can rest someone when they have got a slight injury. So yeah, but I think Bass for me, if we have a strong number one, I think that makes a huge difference.
You have to agree. Obviously, like you're saying about all those big games, got a massive game against Shrewsbury. Huge game against Shrewsbury. We only played them last season and in pre-season as well, didn't we? So I'm really looking forward to that fresh team to play. We never get a great draw, do we? Never.
No, I seen someone tweet them highlights out today that they just tagged Bradford in it.
Yeah.
No need for it.
If you're going to talk tactics, so I was thinking a bit of tactics when you threw me in at the deep end. There's not much to it, is there? We're going to play 3-5-2.
Oh, though.
Of course we are. He signed all the signings point towards that exact formation. I don't. What options? What? Go on then. What are you thinking?
4 at the back.
Who's going to go right back? Who you putting right back?
Macquarie.
Okay.
Cerulo at left back. Then you've got enough defensive options. Midfield 3. You've got Edwards. You've got Robertson. You've got Palmer, and it allows Jody and Neman to go further forward.
Yeah, see, look, that's why I shouldn't have been putting tactics. But
should have left him in the bath.
I don't know. I think you could. Right. Yeah, you can go 4 at the back then, but I think Macari's main position. If you were going to go for 4 at the back, if his main aim was 4 at the back, he'd have signed a proper right back, wouldn't he? Like an official, played there before, lots of experience at right back. I think he's definitely, especially with the signings of Sorella and the other centre halves, it looks like we're definitely going to stick with that formation. I was thinking it'd be quite interesting. I think Sorella's really good because obviously he can cover both wings. I think potentially, obviously you want Jata and Langstaff up top, see them when you get Scott in. Could you even play Jody Jones in that little 10 role behind the 2? Yeah. I don't know if you needed a bit of flair in there. I think there's so many options now. And I just can't wait. I can't wait. And I couldn't wait for this last year to see Palmer and Robertson in there together. I can't wait to see it. I think that's going to be unbelievable. Honestly,
yeah. It will be good.
Just everything you want from midfield. There's grit and determination. There's youth in there. There's they've got the legs. They're good passes of the ball. They're just going to dictate play. I can just see it working. I can't see it not working. And I pray that he comes back in the same sort of vein as he was before. And I think he will do, because I don't think they're going to rush him back, and I think they're going to give him time. And it's kind of good that they said, right, he was out for last season, Palmer, that is. I think they're glad they said he was out for last season, and he's going to steadily get into pre-season. It's harder when you're rushing someone back in within the season, isn't it? Because you're trying to get them back straight into game time. So I think we can sort of put him in and out of a few friendlies. Hopefully that one away in Germany, put him in and out of that one.
I didn't even mention that.
I know, yeah, that's exciting. But yeah, buzzing for Palmer, buzzing. I want to go to that one in Germany, but if we've got one more week of work left. There's the holidays. I'll do in class.
Yeah, we'll be going. A little tour. But I know, it's gutting, isn't it? I think our midfield last year, I think because we were in the National League the year before, I think we thought it was really strong.
Yeah.
But I don't think with Matty in there, we were still not good enough. And when we signed Robertson, I think it was Fleetwood some of their fans were like, "Oh my goodness, like what have you got? What have you let yourself in for?" But unbelievable, outstanding.
Yeah, I sorry, you can.
But a friend that sits on the same row as me, if you're watching, you know you are. I won't dig you out for this. Said to me, doesn't understand what we see in Robertson. Messaged me like a week later after 2 home games. Said, "Yeah, he's good."
What can you not? Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But I hope it's not just because we were in a rocky position and he was trying to pull us through. I hope he's not going to lose that sort of fight, because you know what I mean. When it's plain sailing, I don't want him to just start getting a bit ease off a bit. I want him to have that. He always looks like he's on the edge a bit, doesn't he? Like,
I remember when he was thrown into Grimsby 5-5, and I thought, what on earth is he doing? But he had Jim O'Brien as manager, and
how does it when he's getting into scraps on the edge of the box with people? Just
yeah, he's great player. Oh, the midfield. If you had someone there, and I've mentioned this earlier in the video, there's loan signings available, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, unbelievable! Like the possibilities. And I probably felt like this last season. I probably felt this optimistic, but actually this season, knowing that we've signed like hundreds of games of not just League Two, but EFL experience in the squad that had just over 500 when we came up. Huge. It's like we've raided some of the best players in the league.
Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, and it seems like definitely raided some players that could have gone up to League One or could have been at other sort of promotion pushing teams in League Two. I think the thing with the loan thing as well. I think we need to use that more effectively this season. I think last season it looked like we were using it in a panicky sort of way. Like I think if you're going to use it, you want to use it for some young players that are sort of shining. I know we signed young players last season, but they were all like they were sort of like last ditch kind of. We need to bring them in. I think you need to bring in some youngish players, more attacking players. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I would say more attacking loan players, younger players who got nothing to really lose, going to sort of want to show off a little bit. Whereas I think we've done the right thing in actually signing some centre halves of age and experience, like you say.
Yeah, loaning those flair, like maybe some flair players. That if they make a mistake, it's not going to cost them massively.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to rely too much on the loan market though, from the signings that we've made and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I think we want to develop our own players.
Yeah,
I agree with George, 100%.
I think possibly like a striker that you might play in EFL trophy competitions. But then we've got Marais in there for that. I think you might be right.
What? I don't really get Marais. I would love to see what's going to happen with Gill and Sanderson. I wonder if they're going to go out on loan or if we're going to keep them for EFL. And
I mean, we never know what's going to happen in the season. But if we're right up at the top of the league where we want to be, and where early signs suggest we're going to be, I don't think they get much of a look in at all.
You loan them out then?
Yeah.
Would you loan Brooks that? Someone just put Brooks number 2.
No, I think Brooks stays as number 2.
Yeah.
I can't see a way in for him now, though.
Yeah, but he's only what? You mean 23?
You want to be playing first team football at that age, surely.
Not as a keeper. No, I think he's all right. Maybe. I mean, he went on loan at Rochdale, didn't he, last season? If he wants to get first time football, he'll be going to the National League, won't he, or lower?
Yeah.
So I think at 23 as a keeper.
Oh, he's 21.
Yeah, 21 then.
He's close to 22.
You give him a few more years.
Yeah, he's only just turned 21 actually, so fair enough.
Yeah. Stone won't see a game. No, definitely not. We won't do. I'm not being horrible. He's not. He's on the transfer list, isn't he?
Yeah. Apparently, someone mentioned on the new website Rollo's on the team, but Randall's not.
Has he ever been it? What?
Who?
Literally, Randall.
Like,
he's not even appeared, has he?
I think sometimes the football got that bad last season. We were hallucinating. It's like this Randall guy's coming on. I don't even know if he ever signed for us. I'm not sure if he ever signed for us. So yeah. We're going to wrap up very shortly, Will.
Yeah.
But there's a question we need to ask, and it's the question that's been hovering.
Right.
Maca to Millwall.
Yeah, I seen that today. I don't know. I think I don't really agree with what you lot were saying earlier. I don't think it matters who comes in for him. I don't think it matters if it's Middlesbrough. I don't think Langstaff's making the decision. I think if there's an offer that's high, hits the whatever the owners want, I think whoever it is, unless there's multiple teams that hit that offer, and then I think Langstaff will choose. I think if Millwall are offering I saw some rumours of 2 million. That can't be right. It can't be 2 million.
Probably
Because
not.
if it's 2 million, you say, thank you very much. We'll take it.
Inflation.
2 million's a lot for a league
Inflation,
team.
though.
I think you take 2 million.
Oh, you have to, as much as I love him, you have to.
Yeah, I mean,
2
it's
million for
no brainer. It can't be 2 million.
you're not getting 2 million.
What-
I
what's
don't
the-
know. I don't know
what's
if
the
I'd
cut-off?
take. I don't know. I don't know if I'd take like, I don't know, 600,000 plus add-ons if he's to score so many goals or something. I think you have to take the money. You have to just go for money.
No, I wouldn't take add-ons. There's no guaranteeing that he's going to perform at that level. There's no. I know people say goal scorers score. Not some of them. Some people are capped at the Championship, can't make it into the Prem. Some people are capped at League One. You know what I mean? There's no
Go on, then.
guarantee on it.
No judgment onto what the three of us say here. Just a figure. What you're happy to receive from Macaulay Langstaff.
Okay.
Like what your minimum would be.
I'd take minimum.
So if they come in and say not to accept an offer for this,
I'd take probably 750k.
George,
I don't think you can take anything less than $1 million for him.
I think 1.1.
Maybe I'm lowballing it.
750,000 for a player that's top goal scorer in his first season in EFL football, and like Ben said when he was
I regret that.
could have had another 5, 6, 7 goals.
I'd have been done there by Millwall. They'd have given me an offer. I'd have bit their hand off.
Not
I got too
having to
excited.
confirm that agent Will Horton has sold Macaulay Langstaff for 350,000. Plus add-ons of $1 million if he scores 50 goals.
They've got some hand dryers in
I should have known not to get you on with the tactics and things. When you messaged me earlier saying, do you know what he's messaged me earlier? I'll read it out. He said, "Morning, Tom. Been up all night thinking about formations for this six-a-side tournament. I reckon we go 4-4-2. It's written in, but my phone's just died, so I can't show it.
The maths is bang on when you think about that. Absolutely bang on.
It can't be 2 mil though. It can't be 2 mil.
1.1 an hour. Yeah, like Chris said, 1.5 million is actually nothing for a championship club.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go up to 1.5 mil.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go up to 1.3. We're in a bidding war here. No, but I think you're right. I think at this point, with the amount of goals he scored, you go for that.
How much do you reckon we paid for Jota? What was that? What was that reason?
I actually don't have a clue.
Because he's worth a few bob now.
What? How much we paid for Jota?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like
that was public information, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I can't remember. We've had a whole pre-season, and since we signed Jota, I think we've let in 60 goals.
I just don't know. It's such a hard thing to work out. They must have a figure. They've got a figure, haven't they? They've got a figure, and the thing I would say is that figure's got to rise because he's not angling for a move, is he? He wouldn't have signed he wouldn't have agreed to be captain or whatever if he wanted to really go. He's not going to down tools, is he? By the looks of it, at all.
Someone said 110k. That rings a bell. It does. So someone said 150. It was in that region. Right. Will, great to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you getting out of the bath to come on.
That's all right.
Yeah. But you're going to be on plenty more this season. People know you very, very well. Maybe not tactically anymore, but
I just gave us great tactics.
Okay. Right. Just people don't rewind a little bit, and they won't hear it. No, but seriously, Will, you looking forward to the six-a-side tournament?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I went on a jog yesterday. Hot day. Yeah, it was a hot day though.
That's dedication.
I had to have a couple of rests halfway through. Legs are feeling it now, but
all right, good. There you go. Right, cheers for coming on, Will, and we'll speak to you again soon.
See you later.
Cheers, Will.
Great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode. We've put that smack bang in the middle of pre-season. There's actually we're actually closer to the start of the League Two season than we were to the finish now, quite considerably closer. So we're going to have more videos. The Pavers Perspective will be back. We'll be away for a few more weeks, and then we'll be back every single Thursday towards the end of the season. Thank you to everyone that's got questions in, stayed for any of our guests, was there at the start for Gab or stayed at the end for Will. Thank you so much. If you're watching back, hope you enjoyed the episode. Please do subscribe. This channel has so much content to come over the next sort of 10 months, and who knows where the season could take us, but we will see you live unless something absolutely huge happens with Notts for a Papers Perspective episode, 7:30 Thursday evenings for the remainder of the season, starting in a few weeks' time.